Good morning, all. Jalapeno Gal. Had a request this morning to show a little bit about my shading and light source. So I'm gonna attempt to do a little tutorial on that for Gladys. So what I've got started here is one of Joanna Basford's birds in Enchanted Forest, and I'm gonna use denim blue, Indithrone blue, imperial violet, and maybe a little bit of black, so I can give her an idea of where the light source is coming from on this picture. So what I start with is just imagining where the light source is coming from. So I'm going to imagine that it's coming from the top right hand corner. So what I'll do is I'll start with my lightest color, and everybody has their own style, their own technique, but I'm going to start with the imperial violet and just lay down the lightest of colors, lightest of layer that I can. And then I'm going to come in, I'm going to come in from the edges and darken them up a little bit, but I'm going to stop towards the middle. I'm not going to bring that darkness all the way out. And what that does is, by leaving it light right here, it gives the illusion that it's a reflection. Okay, I need to sharpen this real quick. I'm sorry about that. And come in with my Indithrone blue. I think that's what I used. Nope, I'm going to come in with my denim blue. And these edges right here. And I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure, but as I come towards the center, I'm going to lighten up some. And I'm going to do the same on this end. Again, lightening up as I come towards the center of the top of the bird's head. A little bit more purple. Let's see how that looks. And then I might even come in with a tad smidge of black around the beak. Not a lot. And then what I'll do is take a blender. I use the blending medium. It's a glaze. It's an oil with a paper stump, but you can use a pencil. You can use a blending pen. You can really use anything that works for you as far as blending goes. And I'll start with the light, and then I'll come over here and pull the dark into it. That way I'm not like pulling too much dark into the light. Okay. Get this third feather done, and I'll show you how to do a little bit of shading to define the feathers. So again, I come in with a very light, and I'm only using 3 colors. I didn't use that other blue. I'm using the denim blue and the imperial violet with a little bit of black. And you want to keep, if your light source is coming in from the top like this, you want to try to keep your light roughly in the same spot. I mean, you can vary it up a little bit, like if it's at an angle or whatnot, but you don't want to do light in the center here and then light over here. You want to keep that reflection going in the same direction. Oops. Come in and darken up the edges with that purple. Again, lightening my pressure as I go towards the center where my light source is. And come in with that blue on the edges. And you can do any color you want. You don't have to use these colors, but this is just an example for this video. So you see how that gives it the illusion that there's light coming from the top. Or almost like a reflection. I'm going to bring a little more. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is, because I do have 3 feathers here, and now it's sort of, I don't know how it looks on camera, but because of the way it's shaded, it sort of looks like one. So what you're going to do is you're going to imagine again where that light source is coming from, but you're going to look at the way the feathers are drawn. And this feather looks like it's sitting more on top of this one, like this feather is actually under those two. So I'm going to take my black, let's see. I'm going to take my black, and as small of a line as I can get it, I'm going to follow that feather. You have to imagine, like, if you see, let's say, a flower, and you've got one petal on top of another petal, it's going to create somewhat of a shadow underneath, where one petal is on top of the other, because that light source is not going to be able to get underneath the petal on top. And the same rule applies when you're coloring. If you see something that looks like it's on top, you got to create a little shadow there. So you see how that kind of gives it a little bit of definition. See if you can. I'm going to come down now, and I'm going to work on these a little bit and show you what I mean. I will start with my Imperial Violet, just like I did on top. I think I'm going to come in with a teal on this side. That would be a good contrast, right? Now your light source is still coming from the top. However, it's going to change. You're not just going to have your light right here. It's going to change a little bit because the feathers are coming down on his neck opposed to out of his head. So you can tell obviously that these feathers are on top of these feathers, and that this is on top of these 3 feathers. So what I'm going to do is, again, sharpen my pencil, because you got to keep a tip when you're doing things like this. I'm going to come in with my Imperial Violet and darken in the area that's underneath this, because that lays on top of that, so it creates a shadow. And as I get towards the tip of the feathers, I lighten my pressure. I'm going to do the same under here. And you don't have to use the blending pencil or any type of blending medium if you don't want to. I like the way it looks like this, but some people just don't. They like to make it look more smooth and almost like marker, but it blends. And a lot of people use Copics. I have not been able to get those yet and play with those. Just have to use your imagination. And like I was telling her before, just start paying attention to things that are laying around and where the light comes from and where the shadow lays, and you'll be able to grasp coloring a lot easier. Now I'm coming in with my blue and I'm doing my darkest point right underneath these two feathers and lightening up as I come out. I'm going to do the same right here, lightening up as I come out. Okay. Grab my paper stump. And again, I'm going to start on the right side because I don't want to ever do the blue. And I'm going to come in and pull this out. And what these blending mediums do, besides actually blend the colors that you've layered on top of one another, is draws out the pigment. It smushes the pigment down into the paper. So whereas you have like this little light purple here, once you start doing this, it draws it out into darker purple or more vibrant. You see that? Now, again, we're going to come in with the black. My light's about to fall out. Get that illusion. So it makes it look like that feather's on top. There's your shadow with that black. I want to color this feather in. I'll bring this down as well and do it between each one of those. Let's see, how does that look? Yeah. Okay, so now I went and picked up aquamarine and cobalt turquoise, and I'm gonna toss in some teal up here as a contrast. Remember, always start off light when you're coloring because it's a lot easier to build darkness than it is to take it away or color over it. So I'm envisioning that there's going to be, they're feathers. You can make them whatever color you want, but I'm envisioning that it's going to be darker here. So I'm going to come and apply more pressure, and as I get to the edges, because that's where the light's going to come, is fade it. And now I'm going to come in with the cobalt turquoise because it's darker. Apply somewhat hard pressure. You can build it up light if you want, but as you practice this, you'll be able to judge how hard to press to get the look you want. And it does depend on your color pencils too. A lot of people say that the color pencils don't make a difference, that you can do the same thing with Crayola that you can do with sorry, my phone rang. That you can do the same thing with Crayola that you can do with Prismacolors, and for me that's just not true. I can't get the same effect with Crayola or Crazy Art that I can with Prismacolors. You know, it's like saying you can get the same effect with acrylic paint that you can oil paint. While it might look similar, the oil paint's going to have a whole different look to it than the acrylics will. So it, you know, the tools that you use do make a difference in the outcome of your picture. But you need the skill to know how to use it, how to use the tools. You can't just like get Prismacolors and all of a sudden you're good. You have to practice. And you have to learn. And a good way to learn, in case you guys don't know, is on Facebook. There is like hundreds and hundreds of Facebook pages for adult coloring, and I'm probably on 10 or 20 of them myself. And pretty much everything I've learned from actually looking at other people's artwork and just really examining it and seeing where the colors are, where the shading is, how they're doing it, and then hitting YouTube for videos just like this one. I'm not really happy with the way that looks, but it'll be okay. And I'm going to come in one more time with my black. And see how these feathers are on top? I'm going to create a small shadow effect right here with my black. I'm going to come over here and create a small, almost like you're tracing the underside of the original line to give it a little more depth. I'm going to curve it right here so it's not like such a hard, I might even bring it out some. Same technique, darker by the line, lighter as you come out away from the Imperial violet. I wonder how that teal would look with that imperial. Let's see if I can. It's kind of pretty. Let's see what I can do with that. Okay, back in here where it would be dark, fade it out to where the light would be hitting the feathers. Some teal in that mix. And come back in with that blue at the tip. I think I just kind of covered up that teal, didn't I? No, it looks kind of bunched now, but when I add that black, it'll define those feathers. Of course, you never know. I might have just messed up the whole bird. Kind of looks that way. Ugh, now I'm frustrated. Alright. It will be okay. Let's see. Remember earlier I told you once I get this colored, I'll come in with that black. So it looks like that teal feather is on top. Do the same thing. These feathers right here. I shouldn't have done that teal in there. I just don't like the way it looks. Too much darkness. But once I get the rest of the bird done, it won't hardly be noticeable. This one can help anyway. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Okay, I think I am going to come in here with the blender pencil versus the blending medium. And this is a Prismacolor. This is not, I don't know, but it's this is a Nor colorless blender pencil. And basically what it is it's just a pencil without color. It's not white, it's just void of color. Yeah, that's better, I think. Okay, I hope you're able to tell. I hope that video helps you out. If you got any suggestions or tips, put it in the comment box. If you like this video and it helped you out, subscribe. Check out my other videos. I have a lot of reviews for different coloring books that you can check out. Like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. In pretty much all my videos, I put links in the description box to the books and the tools that I use in that video, so you can easily get to it if you decide that you want to purchase. So, bye y'all.